Hey everybody, what's up and welcome to another episode of Design Blind Date. This week we're talking with Mr. Ben Burns. You probably know him from the future or from the video that I did with him a while back about his transition from doing $50 logos into selling brand identity for $50,000 as part of being in blind in the future. And on this conversation, we're talking about his transition as now he works in the future. He's basically the COO of the future and he's not doing creative work anymore. He's doing more of teaching and handling the marketing, which is pretty similar to the transition that I'm making these days. So in this conversation, we're talking about going through this process, what's it like and what really what we're thinking about and what we're doing actually as creatives these days. Enjoy this conversation. What is up, Ben Burns? Welcome to the show.
Thanks, man.
It's good to see you.
Wonderful to be here, as always.
Awesome home, not home office, but really well-designed home in the background.
Oh, well, thank you. It is my home office, my office that is home. Chris inspired me to look for this artist his name's Cleon Peterson. And so that's the piece hanging behind me. Freaking love those guys.
Nice. Looks very, very nice. Thanks for taking the call so late at night.
It is 11 p.m. here, which is crazy because I have to be up in 9 hours for a pro call.
We'll get you. You'll have your 7 hours sleep. Don't worry about that.
Cool. All right.
So it's been a while since we talked. What's up, man? What have you been doing
lately?
lately?
Yosemite.
Yeah.
So almost a year and a half, actually.
Wow. Yeah. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Since we made that viral video about you.
Was it really viral?
It was
no,
pretty.
It wasn't right.
It would I don't know what's viral, but it was very successful. Like people were blown away by your story.
Oh, killer! Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
well, cool. No, since then we've had some pretty radical changes. So at the time that I was talking with you, we had two companies going on. We had Blind, which is the creative agency, and then we had The Future, which is our education arm. And as of December, we've migrated all of the staff from Blind over to The Future.
Oh.
So Blind still exists. We're still we're still entertaining the idea of working with clients, but The Future's grown at such an explosive rate that we don't have to work with clients anymore.
Really? So you don't so you almost don't take new clients?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Really, the only reason why we're taking clients on at this point is to make content.
That's incredible. Honestly, it's pretty much my situation here as well.
That's killer.
But really, do you have enough work in the future for all the staff?
Yeah. So we have a team of, I think we hit 20 this week.
Incredible.
So it's going. Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Amazing.
And it was incredible because every member of the Blind staff has found a home somewhere in the future. So all of the designers that we had on staff, Min and Sang, which you guys see on YouTube, they're designers for the future now. I mean, they literally work on the landing pages, and we're just about to launch a big website redesign that they've been working on for a while. So it's really fascinating to see people, go from kind of working with clients, used to getting beaten up a little bit, and then all of a sudden now they're passionate about doing this, mission-driven thing that we're all doing together. So it's really cool. It's a cool transformation.
Wow, that was I did not know about this, and it was kind of like, but it's really, really interesting because now, so you are now full-time COO is that still the thing? COO?
Operating? Full time, man. 100%. Full time plus, is that a thing?
Yeah. So how does that look like? So what does that look like? What does a day as a COO looks like for you?
Well, it sounds more glamorous than it actually is, obviously. But this is one of those things where it's like, it's growing a team. So not only do I handle all the, operations side of the business, but I'm also handling the marketing. So right now we've kind of aggressively grown the marketing side of things, and we've got a team of, I believe it's 5 now on the marketing side.
You're all doing everything in-house?
Mm-hmm.
And you're not
Yep.
working with an agency or media buyer or something
Nope.
like that? Okay, cool.
Nope. So we've done that, and scaling that team has been kind of like my main focus. And then it's just handling.
By the way, when you say marketing, you mean paid ads? Is that, or
yeah,
whatever? Because content,
all
you
of the above.
You don't consider content as marketing, or do you?
No, we're actually kind of unique where we consider content a part of our product arm. So we've got like, content is more of our educational material, so we don't consider that marketing.
Got it.
As a matter of fact, we try not to market on our content channels. So.
Yeah. Okay, so marketing is paid ads and stuff like that. What else?
Paid ads, inbound marketing is a huge play for us. So
what does that
downloading
mean?
Downloading a freebie.
Okay.
Whether that's a PDF or a webinar or something. And then the follow-up.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a great book. I don't know if I have it here. I don't. It's at my real office. .com Secrets by Russell Brand.
I didn't read that one.
I
read the Expert Secrets.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you know him.
Yeah.
We took that as kind of like a Bible for inbound marketing, and parts of it felt kind of sleazy.
Yeah, Russell
Brand
from is that type of person, but it works. I mean,
it really does.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to do is we're trying to incorporate the tactics that he uses, but do it in a way where if you don't buy anything from us, you don't feel like we're looking down on you or that we're judging you for not spending your money. And all along the way, we're trying to provide value. So like that first email sequence that people get is my story. And I walk them through like the biggest days in my career path, like the day I got punched in the face. So that's a whole story that I tell on email.
Did you write the emails yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a couple writers on staff, but like those first few emails, I just wanted it to be genuine, from me. So cool. You write all your stuff, right?
So far, yeah, but it's so painful for me. Honestly, I'm looking that will be my next hire. Like my next hire will be either like a marketer or writer because it's really painful for me to write.
Oh man. So all of you guys in the audience who are designers that kind of like to write.
Exactly.
Email Ron.
Yeah. I will. I did do I'll do probably Instagram story or a YouTube about this soon. But yeah, defintapi.
Oh man. I watched there's this thing about writing your own copy though. And I agree. I mean, for me, it's like pulling teeth. But I think this came from Neil Gaiman, who quoted somebody else. I don't know. But he said that, it takes a while to develop your style. And he says the reason why is because you have to stop trying to be like everybody else when you write. And he says your style is the things that you get wrong. And I love that because I am not a writer and I get a lot of stuff wrong. But there's so many people out there that really like the way that I write because I write like I speak.
Yeah, exactly. That's something that's really... I don't know how to do that yet, but teach somebody else to write to sound like you. I don't know if that's even possible, but perhaps. Yeah. Okay, so you grow the marketing team. Yep. So that's like what, hiring, or that also involves like, hey, let's look at the analytics, let's think about campaigns, like.
Yeah, all the messy marketing stuff that designers are scared of.
Do you enjoy that?
It's kind of like gambling for me, to be honest. I get that rush,
in what sense?
Like let's put something out there. Let's spend a bunch of time. Let's put those precious chips of hours and minutes on the table and see what comes back.
Okay.
Sometimes you lose, sometimes you win.
Got it. But you feel rush and excitement from doing it. Yeah.
It's definitely an adrenaline dump. But no, I mean, we're launching new products all the time. So, we've launched four new products this year. And then we've had one really big sale this past weekend when we hit 500,000
Wow. Yeah,
subscribers.
I saw this. Actually, so first of all, congrats on your...
Thank you.
Yeah. I saw the ad that you did with on YouTube. It wasn't an ad; it was like a video, but that was incredible concept and execution.
Yes. That came out of Greg Gunn. The man is amazing. He's the creative brain at work.
Who is Craig Gunn? I don't know him.
Greg Gunn. He's our creative director.
Okay.
Was creative director at Blind for years.
Got it.
He whipped that out of nowhere, and it was just like, yes. So for those of you guys who haven't seen it, you got to check it out. But we actually took Chris Do, who's very, kind of like put together, and he's very presentable at all times. And we put a wig on him and made him read a script for an infomercial style, like Billy Mays, kind of like 90s infomercial. Even the video was cropped at 4:3. It wasn't even 16:9. I mean, it was just his moniker was Driscoe.
Yeah.
And Driscoe is just
so funny.
It's so perfect, dude. Oh my God.
So
great.
I saw that ad, and then I just opened up, my email for whatever reason, and then I had a bunch of sales for like people bought this. I guess they were from my affiliate link or whatever. So I got all of a sudden, all of my inbox were like people buying stuff from the future. And I was like, oh, this shit works.
Yes. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's great. Yeah. So, running campaigns like that's another thing, where it's like, with this, I didn't touch the creative, which was actually kind of nice for me, especially to see the team work independently. That was great. But running these campaigns, making sure everything goes out on time.
So wait, are you also managing or involved in the product creation? Because I know one of the courses you were in, like the case study was it just you, the case study?
Yeah. So I've written 2 products, the Perfect Proposal and the Complete Case Study. And then Matthew and Sina and I co-authored Practical Project Management.
Got it.
And the beautiful thing about the future is that like we're trying to be more of like a publisher model where we can bring instructors in that may not necessarily have the audience of our size, and get them to teach things in an amazing way, and then that becomes a passive income stream for them, and we get to activate our audience and provide value to our audience.
Was that successful for you?
Have you done the products that I made?
No, working with other instructors who are not from the future.
Yeah, so we have 2 courses out with instructors from Art Center, which is a prestigious design school here in California. One is lettering with Nils Lindstrom, and I gotta say that is probably one of our best classes.
Really?
The man can take a 2-inch piece of chalk onto a chalkboard and draw a perfect black letter alphabet in 2 minutes. It's just.
But can he teach that?
Yes, because he's been teaching for 30 years. I think that's the key. Because we've worked pretty exclusively with college professors.
I got it. So those are people who know how to teach. Yeah. I've also been considering that, but that was actually like one thing that I never knew was like, would people do what people want is to learn personally from me, or would they be willing to learn from other people as well? And will I be able to coach these people to instruct in a helpful way? But it's good that this was successful for you.
It is a totally different world. I will say that. I mean, when we launch something with Chris at the front, or with me at the front, Matthew, somebody that's been on the channel and they know and they're familiar with us, the launch is far more successful. So we get this huge spike in sales because we've got the fan base, we've got our loyal people who love us. However, in the long run, everything seems to kind of even out, because the content of these other courses, these guys have been like Errol Gerson teaches managing money, which is an accounting class for us.
Yeah.
He's been teaching for 35 years. 35 years, and he's still sharp as a tack, man. And so he knows how to put things in a way that like really makes sense, and it's also entertaining. So I think if you can work with professors in your area that aren't going to go out and start a YouTube channel and grow a following and all this kind of stuff, I mean, that's where the magic happens.
Yeah.
It is a different world, though, I will say.
Yeah.
Coaching, all that kind of stuff, it requires a lot of skills that I never really thought to develop. So, yeah, I can see where the difficulty comes in.
All right. So we said you're creating content, you're creating courses, you run the operations of all the marketing. What else is involved in your job?
So pretty much our financial situation at all times.
Got it.
Making sure that we're not spending more money than we're bringing in. Making sure that we're on track to hit our goals.
Is this something that's legit to ask? Like, are you profitable?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
That's amazing. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been growing 300% year over year since we started. And
that's incredible.
That journey has been just astounding. I mean, we went from $14,000 in revenue in 2015 and has just snowballed since then. So
wow.
It's a blessing, and the guys on the content team deserve all the credit in the world because they provide the amazing value that to the audience that everybody knows so well. But it's been a wild ride.
That's crazy. So here's one thing that I'm struggling in. I feel like I'm doing a kind of a parallel journey to you, whereas I was an agency, I was a freelancer, but now as I've started to move into the teaching and there's just so much to do. So I don't actually have time to take on projects. Actually, on the last call I did with Chris, I don't remember, that was a few months ago. He was like, I predict that you will stop doing client work. And I was like, no, I don't think I'm going to do that because I really enjoy doing that. I'm not Chris always kind of like, yeah, but the client is annoying or whatever. And I was like, no, I enjoy the process, but it's just like, there's just so much to do in terms of, building kind of an online school. And I have to admit it's more profitable. And so I had to prioritize, and I can't take clients at the moment. But what my fear is that if I'm not taking on clients, I'm going to lose touch with the craft in the long term. Mm-hmm. Do you think about that? How do you handle that?
I do think about that a lot. And it's like, are we going to lose credibility if we're not working with clients?
Yeah.
Now, I think I'm probably worried about that more than anybody else on the team. Matthew's got pretty much every award on the face of the planet in his toolbox. He's been there and done everything. Chris has been working with clients for 23 years, so he's got it down. But I think that's really where the content side of things kind of comes into play. And I noticed that you've been doing this a lot. Like, you actually show works in progress with some of the clients.
Yeah.
And that's great. And I think that look is a look that not many people get.
But here's my struggle. Now, if I don't do work, I can't share that. And I know people love that, and I know it's valuable, and I know it adds credibility, but it also adds a perspective to me. When you're in the struggle, that's where you develop the valuable insights that people want to hear about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and then the beauty of being in your position, being in our position, I guess, is clients are going to call, right? I mean, you have a YouTube channel, you have a good reputation in some circles, I guess.
Yeah.
There's a joke,
what do you mean? All circles.
So, like, clients are going to call, and we're in this really unique opportunity, this really kind of unique perspective where we don't need the work. And so that level of distance, that level of aloofness when it comes to money and jobs and things, gives us a really unique opportunity to test things out and to try things like value-based pricing. I mean, you read up on Blair Enns' value-based pricing, and he's got scripts in there. And because there's so little on the line, you can go try that stuff without fearing losing your house because you didn't get this job.
But that's, and that's the probably top objection that you're going to get from people. And we're like, look at you at your position. You can do whatever you want. I can't do that. And that was like,
right.
How can you respond to that?
So I've gotten that before, and it's like, yeah, you were totally right. But I remember what it was to be you. I remember like doing $50 logos. I remember working out of my garage and not having a awesome Cleon Peterson hanging behind me. No, I remember that stuff, and by no means have I made it. And a lot of people got to get that straight. Just because we have an awesome YouTube channel doesn't mean that we're living large, driving Rolls Royce. But the thing is that like those people, those challengers, are the best people to coach. And so if you can start coaching them and start handing them down opportunities and helping them work through that and documenting it at the same time,
yeah,
that's a whole nother world of content, because there's conflict in there. There's juicy details that people are looking at. And you as the coach, again, it's this different perspective where it's like the pressure's not on and you can call somebody on their shit just by looking at what they're doing from the outside in.
Is that kind of what you're doing with the young guns or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That's exactly what we're doing.
Yeah.
So, that's a whole nother level. And the beauty of it is that like you're taking a disbeliever and turning them into a believer. It's like, no, you can do this. Let me show you. I'll help you.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, but still, going back to the question about, are you going to lose touch with the craft? Meaning, obviously there are some things that are not going to change. The way that you think about pricing, the way that you perceive yourself, and negotiation, those type of things are timeless. But things that are more practical in terms of our craft, those might change from a year to year. And so
you're talking about like design,
process,
like trends,
process tools. Yeah, specifically.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was worried about that too. And my major kind of like transition away from client work into full-time future was about a year ago. And I still oversaw some projects, but it wasn't like anything like it was. It wasn't nearly as intense as it was. And what I realized is that like I was using the newest tools for the future, for the business that I was actually building.
Got it.
So I didn't touch Webflow until we wanted to like start breaking into it for the future.
Until I told you about it. Or Chris.
Yeah, exactly. He's not lying, people. He's not lying. No, I didn't break into Webflow. I also didn't open Framer X until we got sponsored by them to do a post, and now I'm like in love with the Framer X tool. I mean, there's so much that out there, because I'm not on the day-to-day grind with clients. I can learn more about my craft, and that's what I've found, which is really interesting, because I've always hustled. There was never time for me to sit down and actually like teach myself, even though I claimed I was like self-taught. So being able to learn that stuff, I mean, I wanted to do a video about atomic design, so I went and learned about atomic design in order to do the video, not because it was like something I practice on a day-to-day basis. So I think that there's like pros and cons there, but let me just reassure you, I mean, you'll fill in the gaps. Yeah. You will.
I guess, like, in terms of happiness, I mean, you got started out, you've actually transitioned into being a designer, right? You're an officer. That's that's the right term. Yeah. So you transitioned because you were passionate about doing this, and now you've moved into something else. So in terms of maybe passion wise or fulfillment, do you feel you're still there? Yeah.
So I have kind of like a unique perspective on passion. I feel a little guilty saying this because I don't think this is a popular opinion.
Go for it. That's a place to share it.
I don't think you need to find your passion. And, the main reason why I left the police department, it was like a conglomerate of reasons. I was tired of risking my life. I was tired of making no money. I had all these like entrepreneurial dreams, and I also love design, right? So that was a big passion of mine. Well, 2 years into my business, I started hating design. I didn't want anything to do with it. I was just so burned out, and I didn't want to touch it. And for me, passion kind of like comes in waves. It's like this temporary thing. And so I found that like by relying on passion to motivate me to do things, that leads to just disaster. So I find more motivation in self-discipline and consistency versus, following what I'm passionate about. And as far as like for fulfillment, I think...
No, I'm talking about day to day. You sit and you do your tasks. Are you excited about it? Or I know that there are days that are up and down, obviously, no matter what you do.
Sure. Yeah. No, like fulfillment for me, it's like creating something.
Yeah.
Whether that's, a website for a client or a business model.
Yeah.
Structuring deals for me is just as creative as, throwing together a brochure.
Yeah.
So when I look at like, when I negotiate with sponsors or when I'm working with an instructor on a course, like that stuff is as creative to me as building a fort out of Legos when I was a kid. So it's like, as long as I'm making something, then I feel like that creative side of me is really satisfied.
Got it. I'll tell you why I'm asking. Like recently, for example, I worked on a huge kind of like analytics project, just trying to set up everything to understand what's going on in the funnels and everything. And I've spent so much time on this, and I was like, I hate doing this. Why the hell do I need to do this? Like, I wish somebody could just set it up and I could just see it. But like, just like setting up whatever UTMs, Google Analytics, whatever. And I was like hating the fact that I have to spend hours on it. Then I would go to like a face-to-face meeting or some strategic something. And I was like, wow, so fired up after the meeting. I was like, hey, here's like, this gave me a really super good emotion. And this was like a big struggle. So, again, I'm not saying that you should only do what's fun and gives you great emotions. But then again, you want to spend your days doing something, you don't want to suffer throughout the day, obviously.
I want to meet the person who like really likes analytics.
Oh, dude, I'll set you up with it. I have a guy, the guy that helps me. He's, by the way, he's really good. I think he's in Slovenia or Slovakia, but he's so passionate about setting up the tracking, whatever, passing the parameters from domain to domain. That's God. Incredible. It's like, I could not do that.
Dude, no. That is just, oh my gosh. We struggle with that too. And I'm sure you use Teachable, right?
I use Teachable, yeah.
Boy, I tell you what, that checkout system where your users kind of drop off and disappear at checkout, that's a nightmare. Yeah. It's a nightmare.
And I have an even longer funnel, which is between domains. So people land on my domain, then they go watch a webinar, then they go to Teachable. So everything gets lost in the middle, and you can't understand anything.
Yep. I know the feeling. I know the frustration. So I'm there with you. I got no help on that. Find somebody else to do it.
Got it.
Yeah.
So
no, I think it's just like when you're faced with those, it's a unique challenge, and this is where delegation comes into play. Like if you're really bad at something, which I'm really bad at analytics, and I'm really bad at getting writing done on time. So those are two of the things that I've hired people for, and I think that like you can't ignore your weaknesses. You have to like embrace them, and then find somebody that can fill in those gaps for you.
Yeah.
So
that's definitely like building a team is definitely my next challenge. And compensating for the things that So anyway, can you, like, what does a typical day look like for you? Like now is 11 p.m. Is that normal for you to do podcasts in 11 p.m.?
No, no. Typically, I'm like writing or watching TV or something right now. Yeah, the evenings have like very much chilled, and I just had a baby a couple months ago.
Oh,
so
congrats, dude!
That's been thank you.
So now you
Thank
have
you.
3 or 4 kids?
Two
kids.
Two
two
kids.
I don't
Yeah.
know why I remember you already had 2 kids. Oh, congrats, dude!
Thank you. So 2 girls, and the second one has been a little bit rocky on the sleep. So,
Dude, how many months? How many months?
4.
4. Oh, yeah. It's called I don't know what it's called in English. Let me try to translate it. But it's like, whatever. Something goes wrong at 4.
Yeah.
You think you understood it, then at 4, everything breaks.
Yes.
the 4 months challenge or something like that, they call it.
Yes. Sleep regression, I think it's, I don't know, dude. Whatever it's called, it sucks.
Oh, man.
So that's kind of my nights. But average day, it depends on what day it is. So we only have meetings on Mondays and Wednesdays.
Okay.
So Mondays and Wednesdays, it's like I wake up, I get to the office, and from the time I get to the office to the time I leave for home, it's just meetings back to back. Whether that's stand-ups with the team for the week. We only do a weekly stand-up. Stand-ups for the team, or sponsorship meetings, or management meetings, finance meetings, all that kind of stuff. I mean, Mondays are it's meeting Mondays. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, those are the creative days. So this is where I work on a new product, or I'm actually writing for a campaign, or, I'm in the zone, whether making content, I'm like doing something. So I try to like divide up my days, because
But you
Mondays
still go to the office
I'm
for that, right?
No. So usually I'm home Tuesdays and Thursdays, sometimes like
that's
Fridays.
awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, living that remote life.
Nice. How far is your home from the office?
Not far.
Not
10 miles, I think.
Okay.
So, like 2 hours in LA traffic.
Got it. Yeah. I could never live.
But that's
in
pretty
the
much
US.
it. 7:00, come home, play with the kids. I'm like dad between 7 and 9:30 when they go to bed.
They go to bed at 9:30?
Yeah, man.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
It's late.
They also get up at like 8:30 or 9.
Oh,
so.
wow. Incredible.
Yeah.
So we
so
probably
that's
have
nice.
the same, but earlier. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, that's pretty much it.
Cool. Do you have some morning routine, evening routine type of thing that you do? I don't know. A lot of people do that.
Oh, man.
Are you with the kids
wish.
in the morning as well? Or straight to work?
Yeah. Usually just for like breakfast and give them a kiss and head into work. So it's not a long morning typically. I'm usually late. No. No, it's one of those like, I've always wanted a morning routine. I've always wanted to have that like rock in the morning, but it's just, I've never been that guy.
No,
Consistency
it's
has always been the
kids.
thorn.
The truth is, it's hard with kids when it's unpredictable. What happened last night, during the night, in the morning. It's hard.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes they wake up and it's like that phrase, waking up on the wrong side of the bed. For you guys who don't have kids, that thing is real.
Oh, man.
It really happens. Like some days they wake up and they're just like not into you at all.
Today, I had to leave home really early because this is my second podcast. So I woke up at 6 and then I took a shower and I heard the he's not a baby, he's 2 years old, but he woke up on the wrong side while I was in the shower and he started screaming and he didn't stop screaming until I left the house, which was like in 30, and I could see on my wife's face that like, yeah.
Yeah, and the wife's face tells a lot, right? So like on day 1, it's usually like this like shield of valor, and she's like, "Go, I've got it," and she's like holding the door, she's like holding the door. But on day like 2 or 3, she's like, "I hate you, get out of here," like.
Yeah, that was today, But I know, I get it. Like she's not a morning person. Feel bad about that, but oh well.
Dad life.
Yeah.
Dad life.
So when do you get
Man.
time to read books? Like you recommend all the books that I read as well. So it seems like we share a lot of the books. So when do you read books?
I'm big on Audible right now.
Yeah, same here.
I've got the commute. It's not too bad. It's like 45 minutes to an hour and a half when it's horrible out.
Each side, hour and a half?
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah, when it's bad.
Oh, man.
Yeah. LA life, man. We were living up until my daughter was born. That's a whole nother story that I got to tell you. But up until my daughter was born, we were living about 3 miles away from the office, and I was riding my bike in. But living in LA, landlords they suck. Yeah. So they wanted to raise our rent by like $500-600 a month. We were like, you know what? No. So we moved.
Yeah. I dig.
But the commute gives me that opportunity to listen to books. And since I'm only on the road 2 or 3 days a week, it's kind of a nice break, to be honest. Don't tell my wife that, though.
I know. I'm also on bicycle, but I have like let's say 30 minutes commute on bicycle, and I also listen to Audible. So
nice.
Yeah. So what are you listening to right now?
Business of One, I think it's called.
By Paul Jarvis. Or yes. Company of One. Yeah. Company of One.
Company of One. Yeah. It's really interesting. I've gotten into like the first chapter, so I'm judging right now. I'm in the judging phase. Sometimes I have to like listen to a book with like skeptical ears on. It's like, does this person really know what he's talking about? I don't know. And then you get to the end, I'm like, okay, now I need to re-listen to it and actually.
Oh, you listen to books twice?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. You don't do that?
No, honestly, I don't.
You just steel trap up here. You just remember everything?
I actually take notes. That's something that I started doing last year.
Wow.
Yeah. And I find it really helpful. So I like with the notes app on iPhone, I just write bullet points. So at the end of every book, I might have like 20, 30 bullet points, but it really helps with remembering like the core ideas.
Yeah, that's really interesting. You know, I've toyed around with that.
It's hard when you're driving, probably.
Yes. However, Chris always says whenever you're consuming anything, like whether it's a TV show or whatever, consume it through the lens of you have to teach it later.
Yeah.
And that helps you remember, which it doesn't really help me. Well, I need to write notes. But I've toyed around with the idea of like getting like a car notebook. And then as soon as I pull into the garage, jotting down the highlights.
Honestly, you know,
of what I listen
that
to.
might look very, very weird, but I just pull up my bike in the middle of the road, write something, and then continue.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I like that. No, it's cool.
It might
really
slow
cool.
me down sometimes, but it's, it really, really improved like the retention of concepts from books. And then I can later on refer back to them as well.
I listened to the Lean Startup really early on in my, whenever I moved out here to LA, and I remember nothing from that book. And it's a tragedy because I know it's a great book.
What do you mean? There is like, what do you have to remember? It's just like, don't do things without validating it first. That's the point of the book.
Yeah, true.
Like he wrote it in one paragraph. He chose to write a book. Okay.
Yeah.
Just because you need to back up your claims. But if you believe him, then that's all you need to remember. Don't build it before you validate it.
Yep. I love that.
The thing about this book is that everybody read it. In at least who is doing like startups and stuff like that. But
sure.
Everybody fails to take action on it. And I was like, no, I know this will be good. Trust me. Let me develop this app. It's going to work. I know it's going to work. And then nobody uses it. So
I love that. Yeah. Oh man. Especially with all the tools that we have now, prototyping is so easy. So easy.
Yeah. But what's hard? Talking to people and getting rejected. That's never going to be easy. And that's, I think, like most people don't want to discover that their idea is not a good idea.
Right.
By the way, even when it comes to, I know that me and you guys at the Future as well are encouraging people to create their own stuff and sell it as well. Even in that sense, I always tell people, hey, before you go ahead and create that product or create that course or whatever, do you have somebody to sell it to? Do you know people want it? Do you know people are going to be willing to pay for it? And still, I see so many people put out months of work creating and iterating and perfecting. And no, I'm not going to put it out until it's really good because I have my own standards. And then they spend so much time on it. Then they put it out and, to moderate or limited success. And it's painful.
Yeah. And we've suffered from that too, to be honest. I mean, we put a bunch of time into Facebook advertising class. We figured, hey, how do we teach people to pull in clients using Facebook ads?
Put in
turns
kind
out,
of like service clients, like for an agency or freelance.
Right. I thought it was a great idea. Turns out nobody wanted it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, you
sounds
had, I find that hard to believe. You had a, let's say, proven method for getting clients using Facebook ads, and people didn't want it.
That's what they told us. It was really, really interesting. Because we sunk about, I want to say 40 team hours into it. We had a bunch of the stuff filmed. We had a Facebook ads expert going through the basics of like how to construct and test Facebook ads. And, we had some blueprints, some playbooks, and through polling and all this kind of stuff, people just didn't really, they kind of fizzled. They just didn't.
Okay, by the way, if you did polling, so polling is validating, but you said you only did that halfway through when you already invested.
Right.
So you never actually went ahead and published it?
No, we didn't finish it because we only had probably 2 modules in. So thank God. But I mean, still, with the amount of time that it took us to get there, it was about $22,000 of investment.
Wow.
So,
okay.
That was just, but on the other hand, that taught us an incredibly valuable lesson. We pre-launch everything
before you start working on it.
Always.
Yeah.
We Kickstarter everything. Sometimes we'll actually go to Kickstarter and do that, like we did with Chris's book. But we pre-launch classes on our own platform, and it's literally, we will stand up a teachable class, put a really good sales page together. We'll have an idea of the curriculum that we want to build, and then we'll sell that. We're literally selling an empty class.
Yeah.
We know that we can teach the material, or we have like an instructor who can, and we set a benchmark beforehand. And
how do you set that benchmark? How do you calculate
historical?
Okay.
Also averaging, like, is it a video class? How expensive is it the class can be to create? We're always looking for that break-even point. And then from there, that's the way we set our. So
you to calculate the cost. Like, it's going to cost me $50,000 to produce this. If it's not going to return at least $50,000, it's not worth doing.
Right. Different factors go into it too, because what we're trying to do is put together curriculums. So we have big tracks of courses that people can take. So, like, if it's one of those things where it like fits in a curriculum perfectly and it like bridges a specific gap,
got it. It
then
might make
that
sense,
kind of lowers the bar, right? But I mean, shoot, man, the pre-sale has been extremely predictive on how that product's going to do in the real market too.
Have you ever failed in terms of you sold, but you did not pass the bar, and you decided to, hey, you know what, we're not going to do this, refund the money to everybody who purchased?
No, we haven't been there yet.
Okay.
We have not been there yet. I'm not looking forward to that moment.
Even though it's probably going to be painful, at least it's going to save you up a bunch of,
Yeah. Actually, you know what? For physical products we have, and this is like merch stuff. If nobody wants to buy a t-shirt or nobody wants to buy a hat, we're not going to buy the inventory.
Got it.
And so those are failed products, but I mean,
so you had them and you
in the
pulled them
grand
off?
scheme. No, these are just like, we'll put up a design to see if people want to buy it. And then if they don't buy it, then we'll just take it back down.
Got it.
Because we've made that mistake too, where like those freaking hats that Chris and I designed, we put up a Facebook post and there was like 2,000 people that committed to buying this hat. like in a comment, and then we launched them and sold 200. And I was like, come on, guys.
Do never trust people who said, I will buy it. Show me your money. Put in your
Show
credit
me
card.
the money.
Yeah. No, but by the way, you did learn that when like the 10% of the people who said will buy will actually buy. That's also a good benchmark to learn from.
Yeah, true.
You can learn from
True.
that. Okay.
Yep.
So it
Yep.
seems that even though you don't remember much from the lean startup, you do practice it.
Maybe it's just like it's sunk in and I can't recall it, but I learned. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something happened.
But that, yeah, basically that's the point.
But no, so I would recommend pre-launching everything. And so many people are guilty for doing that. Like they feel guilty or they feel like it's an ethical thing.
What, to
where
take
it's
money
like,
where you don't have anything? I think I
Yeah.
don't think it's the ethical. I think it's the responsibility. They're like, oh my God, now I have to actually do this. And and I think that's what a lot of people are afraid. They're afraid of the being committed to actually doing something. They like toying with the idea, but like literally taking.
they're fearful of their success. That's bad. Oh,
Not of the maybe of the success, but I think they're afraid of actually doing it. You know, of doing the thing.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh well.
I have a really good friend was in my wedding and our thing, right, was we would get a bunch of beer, we'd have a fire at his house, like a bonfire in the backyard. We'd smoke cigars, drink beer, and then come up with business ideas. And so there's so many dead business ideas that I've come up with over the years, and it's like I never took action on any of them because most of them weren't good anyways, but it was just, you know, that it's very familiar. It's like kind of
At what point was
scared to
that?
put it out there and
At what point?
oh, this was pre everything, dude. This was
Pre-everything.
still badge and gun days.
Nice. Cigars and beers and bonfires and business ideas.
Yep.
Sounds fun.
Yep. Yeah. Sounds like Epicurrents.
Yeah. Nice. Awesome.
Are you gonna go to the last one? The last Epicurrents?
Why last? It's not the last.
I think it's the last one.
Really?
The one coming up, yeah.
I think we've been together to the last one, and there seems to be others after the last one.
No, that was the fake last one.
No, I did not hear about the real last one.
Yeah, apparently it's coming up. I'm thinking about going. I'm not sure.
I don't know when is
Yeah.
that.
I don't know.
I'm hoping
This is
to get
stellar
to
content for your audience.
Yeah, who cares? I mean, not sorry, audience. It's not that we don't care, but it's just friends catching up and talking, talking shop. And we do go to events together, and that's how we met face to face. So it's important.
Yep.
I'm hoping to get to the West Coast later this year. I don't know. Maybe there'll be some event, Webflow related event that I'll be going to. So maybe,
oh, cool.
Yeah. And if that happens, maybe we can catch up. Either in, I actually never been to LA. I've been to San Francisco, but I've never been to LA.
Well, we can go to San Francisco instead. I mean, it's fine.
It's okay. No, I love seeing new places. I just have a vision of.
No, yeah, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic. Maybe you can jump on an awards ticket or something like that.
What's an awards ticket?
The awards conference, AWWW.
It was just recently, no?
Yeah, they had one in LA and then they had one in San Francisco. I went to the SF one. It's pretty good.
Was it good?
Saw Vlad there, the founder of Webflow, who you introduced me to. So saw him speak.
Was it a good speech?
Yes, he did really well.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's a good
There was a
motivator.
There was a giant W on the stage for awards, and he was like, by the way, this stands for Webflow. And I laughed, right? Nobody else laughed. And I was like looking around, and turns out like people believed him. They thought that the W was for Webflow.
It's so funny, I used to, one of the first branding projects I did was for a company called WebEdu. Do you know WebEdu? It doesn't matter. They were, I guess, a Webflow competitor. That was like maybe 10 years ago, maybe not less than 10 years ago, but they were kind of like Wix, between Wix and Webflow. And their logo was a W inside of a rectangular. Really, I think it's very similar to the awards. So it's funny because, yeah,
That's funny.
yeah,
Oh, that's hysterical.
yeah.
So what's next for you? What's next in the pipeline? Or is it super secret?
No, it's not super secret. I'm about to start working on my next course, which is going to be about web design. So I did my first course about Webflow, and then a lot of people in the course are like, that's amazing. Now I can build websites with Webflow, but actually I want to be a better designer. I want to have a better design ready when I get to the Webflow stage. And so can you teach us your process for, working with the client from, the initial briefing throughout how you think about structuring a website, building it, designing it, typography, visuals, all of that stuff. So that's what I'll be working on next. I think I'm hoping to get started on that in July. Like I have June already booked out. I'm doing a little bit of travel now. I'm going to speak at a few conferences, and I want to create e-commerce content for my Webflow course, and then I'll get started doing that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Are you scared about that at all?
In what term scared?
Oh man. Whenever people ask me about my creative process, codifying that and actually like putting something in place for that or putting a structure to that always terrifies me, because it's like, man, I don't know what I'm doing. I have like guidelines, right? But like I open XD, I open Framer to a blank artboard just like everybody else, and it's just kind of like you massage it until it works.
I'm actually pretty confident that I can break it down. And so I'm pretty confident about that. I don't know. My fear is that it will be less valuable than the Webflow course. Maybe just because Webflow course is really technical and I teach something, and here it's going to be more about process. But I don't know. Like that's probably just a stupid limiting belief fear. But no, I think like I'm pretty sure.
Well, good.
I'm pretty sure people want this. I'm pretty sure I can bring value there. Obviously, I'm going to validate it. I'm going to pre-sell it. But that's also at this point, I feel like, I already have, I'm reaching 1,000 students in the Webflow Masterclass right now. And so even if I just put this offer to them, not even put it to my YouTube audience or Instagram, I'm pretty sure it will sell well. And so I don't know if it's kind of like biased just because they like me or they like the way that I teach, but I'm still going to do this. Obviously, I'm still going to do the pre-sale.
Yeah, cool. I like, to be honest, I like doing the pre-sale. I did this for the complete case study, and writing case studies is always something that I've like improved on, and I've learned by reading other people's case studies and trying to put myself in the shoes of the user. And one thing that I was like a little bit unsure on is like, how do I put a process to this? What do I do to put like a worksheet together for writing a case study? And the process came from the first webinar that I did with my first students. So like they bought the course, and then I did this Ask Me Anything webinar. They asked questions, I answered them, and realized that the formula was in the answer. So like that back and forth was wonderful for me.
Okay, so this is very similar to what I did with my Webflow course, where basically I did a pre-sale with nothing. I didn't even say anything about the curriculum. I did say that if you're going to be part of that first group, you will have impact on the curriculum. And then I just said, send me all the questions or everything that's important to you to learn. They've sent this to me. I've structured a webinar based on that and kind of presented the proposed curriculum based on what they've asked me to and got feedback on that. And that's basically how the curriculum built itself, I guess.
Gotcha. That's a great way to do it. Matthew just took a class with somebody else. It was like a class on how to build classes.
The ebook about writing ebooks.
Yeah,
that's the most
exactly.
best-selling ebook.
Yeah, that's straight out of their playbook, man. It's like promise to solve a problem, sell the course to validate the concept, and then work to solve the problem for those first few students.
Yeah. Whose course did he take, by the way?
I forget her name. I think it was Nicole somebody.
Okay.
I'm not sure. But the beautiful thing is that like those first students get such a high touch approach that the value for them is way beyond
and
everything else.
And they usually pay less than the full price or whatever. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's a great way to just like navigate around all the BS. Like when we were first starting our project management course, I started outlining things like Agile and Scrum and Waterfall and Lean and all these kind of things that nobody cared about. And so I did a lot of research and it never really ended up in the actual course. So it's a great way to like figure out what people actually want to know.
This is also something that I don't struggle with, but I find like a conflict there because sometimes a lot of people ask like, how many videos are in or how long is the course? And they assume that if there's a lot, then it's good. Then it covers everything. But what I try to
Isn't that fascinating?
I try to make it as efficient as possible. Like how can you spend the least time watching videos and understanding? And it's funny. It's just like with clients, like billing per hour. Like that doesn't make my work better. You want to have a deliverable faster, So it's... Yeah.
I don't know what it is. We've come up against it too. I mean, Chris's product, it's the brand messaging kit. He tells you exactly how to write like splashy copy, like Apple level copy, and breaks it down into like 3 exercises. And the whole PDF is probably 80 pages long. And people get upset because it's so short. And it's like, it's a shortcut. We say it's a shortcut. You bought it because you wanted it to be a shortcut. And now you're complaining it's too short. What do you? Yeah, it's consumer psychology.
Yeah,
it really, really is.
Yeah,
and so that.
But
that makes you kind of want to expand things. But
sometimes that's also one thing that I learned from the Russell Brunson's book, which was he said, forget about what you want to sell and listen to what they want to buy. Even if it doesn't make any sense, this is what they want to buy. And so I can't decide in a patronizing approach, no, this is what's best for you. Because then you're just not going to buy it. I don't know. I'm not going to say that I will do my courses long intentionally, but it's just like, that's what people care about. I don't know.
It is. And I think it is an assurance thing.
Yeah.
Like, I need to buy this, but I'm not sure it's gonna make a difference. But if there's 74 videos totaling 8 days and 48 hours, there's gonna be something in there for me. So I think it's an assurance play.
What I learned,
we list the page counts on our sales pages.
What I learned is that people are buying confidence a lot of times. They feel like if they went through a lot, now they're eligible. Okay, now I can charge higher prices because I went through something that's so deep that I'm worth the money or something like that. I think. Yeah.
So here's the real danger of us moving away from client work. Here's the real danger is that when we get together, all we talk about is like marketing and selling online projects.
It is what it is,
That's the real danger. It's not that we're out of touch. It's that we don't care about that stuff as much anymore.
No, it's just that we're in touch with different things. But I think that, throughout my journey, I've been sharing what's what I struggle with and what I pay attention with and what I'm doing at the moment. And that's been valuable. So hopefully people are seeing it's still building a business. It's still struggling with dealing with customers and trying to understand how to find your position in the market, which is what other people are doing. And so, yeah, I hope that will be valuable for them. And if not, I just had a great conversation with you and
There's value in here somewhere. I mean, somebody hasn't read The Lean Startup yet, right?
For sure.
They're going to go read that.
If one person does a pre-sale instead of building something without validating it, it was worth it. All right, Ben, you should probably go to sleep now if you want to catch your 7-hour sleep. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And
thanks, man.
Yeah, sharing some insights.
It was great.
Me. Have an awesome week.
Thanks. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.